Yeah, I think it's just changed a lot of people's life, the internet and the computers in a kind of way. It's given people more temptations, and I found that I've made more friends actually since, sort of being on the internet, especially when I started doing Facebook and things. It's easy to make friends from across the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's how I kind of like met like some of the girls that I've been with in the past. Like I say, this wouldn't have happened if all of this
If it wasn't for the internet
in the first place.
If it wasn't for the internet, yeah.
It's changing. It's changed my life.
It's changed society.
Well, I feel like if the internet and the computer wasn't invented, I feel that I would have been still married today.
It's completely changed. It changed and evolved the way in which we communicated and interacted with each other on a global scale.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I can communicate with you, can't I? Sometimes quite a lot easier. And I just communicate with. I have done in my past. To be honest with you, I used to do Facebook quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I think I've nearly sort of got about 5k friends and about 2,000 followers on there. I can't remember how many, but I felt like it was taking over my life a little bit, and I just felt like I needed to give it up.
Yes.
In a kind of way, because there's too many people talking to me.
Okay, yeah.
Alice from Dallas talking to me sometimes, it just like grew and grew, and I just had people saying good morning to me every day, I haven't got time for everyone.
Became overwhelmed kind of thing, yeah?
Well, I just haven't got time to talk to everyone in a kind of way, and then you feel rude because you haven't spoken to them, a bit,
Yeah.
And I just feel like I'm just, I might go back to it in the future, but at the moment I'm just enjoying living in with nature a little bit more.
Yeah.
If you see what I'm saying. And I think this is the thing, like today with this internet and computer and whatever.
Yeah.
Children are sort of not playing naturally in nature like they used to. And I just think you need, it's like smoking or drinking or anything. You need to treat the internet like it a bit, you need to sort of like go on it only like maybe 4 hours or 5 hours at most each day, and try to sort of
limit your time on it.
Well, discipline yourself really.
Yeah, because some people do spend too much time. Some people are really addicted to their phone.
Yeah.
Right? I've seen it at work. I've seen people be on their phone, right, and they will close an app. They'll be on an app, close it. Literally press the thing on their phone so their phone goes off, and then they'll literally 30 seconds later take their phone back out and go back onto the same app which they just closed, put their phone away. I see it all the time. People are, don't get me wrong, we're all guilty of it to a degree, but like you said, I'm the same. I try to utilise it for things I need to do, if you see what I mean. And I do spend maybe an hour or two a day on social media, whether it be YouTube or social media. But I do try to limit it as well, like you said, try to have a bit of a limit, because otherwise it can take over your life a little bit, like a lot of things,
Well, I enjoy learning, right, personally, yeah, and I think it's one of the best things man has ever invented, really.
Yeah.
If you enjoy learning, really, you've got Google, and you've got YouTube, and you can learn from, just Googling whatever you want to learn about in a kind of way. And like 20 years ago, I had to go to the library, whether that was open or closed. You know what I mean? It's only open sort of so many days and all that, and so many hours. So it was limited. But now I've got the internet at my fingertips.
Yeah.
24/7. I feel like I've really sort of gone forward and learned a lot more than I ever have done. Like I say, like if it was invented when I was born, 1965, and we had that technology back then, and we had it at school and all this kind of stuff, I feel like I would have been maybe twice as, maybe I don't know how many more times, but maybe 10 times more intelligent than I am today. Because I just feel like I've learned about the world around me a lot more. travel
Yeah.
if you want before you even actually go there on an airplane. You know, you
It's
can have a
true.
look around.
Get a bit of an insight into.
Exactly. You know, and I feel like with the internet, you know, there's many people on it. I don't know how many millions or billions or whatever.
Probably billions, mate.
But
Daily.
you know, not everyone's on the internet, or you know,
not every. Yeah.
Well, not everyone can afford it, can they? It
True.
depends what country you're living in. I
Yes.
think.
Yeah. And how good the internet is in your country.
Depends whether you're interested in it.
Yeah.
In that, you know, do you know what I mean? But I just feel that the people that do use computers, because there's only a certain, you know, there's only a certain percentage, I think, that actually go on computers today. We don't all go on them.
Yeah.
There's still some people that live in caves today. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like we're kind of the people that do use it and they go on the internet, they're learning a heck of a lot. I feel. Yeah. You know, because it's like a big window, isn't it? And I think that's why they call it Windows. You know, because it's like windows, and it's an amazing place if you ask me. And I feel like even if I want to learn about dolphins today, do you know what I mean? Just how many different dolphins there are in the world, and just study them for the day. Yeah. The internet's there, and it would really educate me one day if I wanted to learn about dolphins. You know? Yeah. It's such a useful tool. Yeah. And like I say, I wish it was invented many years ago in a kind of way. Can you imagine if it was invented 1,000 years ago? Yeah. You know, how advanced would we be today? You know, because like I said, if it was invented 1,000 years ago, everyone would have been born with it in a kind of way, and every generation would have been working on it, and I know that it would have been more advanced today than it even is today. Yeah. You know, we're just behind, alright, because we only discovered it maybe 50 years or 60 years ago. So we're a bit behind because we only discovered it 60 years ago.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? I feel like that's why I said earlier at the beginning of the episode, it's conflicted about artificial intelligence, because obviously technology, with everything, everything has its pros and its cons. The same goes with technology, any form of technology, no matter what it is. And that's the thing, it can have so many pros. It could really probably help humanity in so many different ways, I'm sure. But at the same time, if even these experts and all these scientists that are the head of their fields in regards to artificial intelligence and all these various different things, these projects, are all, none of them have denied that there is a potential for this to go wrong, if you see what I mean. They're saying that it's a small, that, you know, it's a small percentage that it could go wrong, you know, because the way they've programmed them and everything else, that they've, you know, they've done a great job, and, you know, they've done it to the best of their ability, and they believe it will be effective and it will work correctly and it will be fine. But there is also a small window and a small percentage that it could all go wrong. And any of us, and we all know it's only entertainment at the end of the day, of course, but any of us that have ever seen any films in regards to artificial intelligence or any documentaries, it always ends generally ends almost with, you know, artificial intelligence essentially wiping out humanity, if you see what I mean, and getting rid of humanity, realising that they no longer need humanity, you know, that they've evolved, you know, so far technologically so. And I think that obviously is the main worry for anyone out there, that's the main worry, how, you know, how detrimental could this thing be if it does go sideways. So, yeah. But at the same time, like I said, if it does work correctly and they can, you know, get it to a point where it, you know, it's almost fail-proof, if you see what I mean, where it's kind of, you know, if something does go wrong, that it just kind of just shuts down, if you see what I mean. If they can, let's say they can create it in a way where if any other program tries to intercept or tries to take over the programming which already exists, that it just shuts down automatically. Let's say it's got some kind of mechanism that anytime someone tries to tamper with it, whether it be a hacker, one of these real technological people, one of these hackers that could hack it. And,
I'm one of them.
You know. So I think that is the danger. So I think if they could potentially create it with a mechanism or something like that, like I said, where it shuts down, like anytime anyone tries to program it differently to the programming which has been instilled, whether it becomes self-aware and does it itself, or someone else tries to do it via hacking or other means, then it will just shut down, and that then obviously eradicates the problem of something potentially going wrong, if you see what I mean. And then that would probably then be useful, because then we could use these things to do various jobs and to create, to do various activities. It's like even today, they've got applications that many people know about. It's called ChatGPT. And a lot of people have these applications on their phones and their computers and all sorts of things today. And they basically are using these applications. They go into these applications and literally write into these applications what they want. And it will literally produce exactly what you want. It will write, let's say you've got an exam to do, or a paper that you need to, something you've got to write about for a school paper or an exam or whatever. You literally type in what you want it to, and it will literally write it for you, if you see what I mean. And make it seem completely legit, completely, if you see what I mean. And it does this with lots of different things, with marketing, all sorts of various different things, if you see what I mean. People are using ChatGPT for all sorts of day, even recreating other people's voices and stuff, if you see what I mean, So yeah. And also, while I think of it, I saw on the news the other day that they've actually created an artificial intelligence superstar. This is what they want to, if you see what I mean. They've created this animated female, artificial intelligence thing, and made a song, if you see what I mean. Used some kind of voice, some kind of artificial intelligence to create this song, and use a voice to create this song, and they put it out, if you see what I mean. And one of these music labels is actually behind it, if you see what I mean. So even that in itself is a little bit strange, if you see what I mean. Where you've actually got artificial intelligence music now, where you've got people that are literally using other people's voices and other things like this, but they're, using these programs to write the lyrics and to make songs and all these different other things, if you see what I mean. It's interesting, the world that, It's quite scary in a way too, because sometimes you might not know what's real. Because if they're able to create something that, let's say one of these people want to use it for, bad means, evil means, negative means, surely it probably is able to produce those results too, probably as well. If you get what I'm saying. So
I mean, I think there are good people out there trying to sort of like probably trying to build good robots, but there's bad people out there all the time.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think and they might program robots to do bad things. You know what I mean? And destroy us, or it's like even computers and internet and that. You're always getting viruses, and people they write these viruses. And there's people out there. There's people out there with guns, there's people out there writing viruses, there's all kinds of, there's people trying to poison other people. There are some very dangerous people out in the world.
People with sinister means, as they would say. Got ill intentions.
Sad it is, but that's the world we're living in. And maybe we need some sort of artificial intelligence to sort this world out.
Maybe.
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 Because, I mean, being a policeman, really, I think, is difficult,
Yeah.
I think you need a robot to do it, really, something that's not human in the kind of way, that follows a program. I mean, police kind of follow a program, they follow the book, don't they? But sometimes you get good police and you get bad police, and good and bad police, that's what I'm trying to say. And some police are a bit immature, maybe, and they're not being in for long, and they, but where like, they're all different police a little bit, where they've all had a different background. Where if you did a robot and programmed it, they haven't got no feelings or no background or no history or nothing. They're just going about doing a job. So I think they're probably working on it today, that we're going to get robotic police in the future, because I feel that they would do a better job in a kind of way, but I mean, I think like they're doing it in some countries right now, and they got robotics or police on the roads or something. I don't know, do you know what I mean? But I saw something about that once.
The trouble is with, I think the trouble is with that though, right, mate, is you you start to become. Let's say they start using robots and artificial intelligence and stuff for like policing and all this type of stuff. It's quite scary in a way too, though, because it becomes almost like even more like a Big Brother society, where there's no escape. There's no, like, okay, not saying that people are supposed to escape justice, but let's say police are chasing someone today. If he runs and he gets away from the police and they don't catch him, then that's on the police, if you see what I mean. Or if something happens, you know, it's a human being you're dealing with. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Let's say you have to have an interaction with the police. You're dealing with a human being. It's much different to dealing with a human being than it is to dealing with a robot. You know? Do you get what I'm trying to say? The interaction is going to be completely different. With the robot, it's going to be completely. It will be, if it's an arrestable offence, that robot will then arrest you, and you can't fight no robot. You can't get away from it. You can't escape one of these things. Or do you get what I mean? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Depends how advanced it is. I mean,
true.
That robot we saw on TV didn't have no body, did it?
No, not that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A head.
Yeah.
You know, but it's very intelligent the way it answered you. You know, you can imagine that being a policeman in the kind of way, you know, talking to you on the street.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're sort of like using the wrong language, it might come, you know, arrest you for swearing and things like that. You know, I think it's possible. That's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's not impossible, is it?
No, definitely not. Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of electrical robots as well in a funny way, where apparently our brains are digital. You know, and they send off signals like noughts and ones, just like
computers, yeah, binary code.
I was watching a documentary about it, you know, and it's, you know, we're you know, it's like if we touch a wire, you know, that's plugged in, you know, and we get electric shock, we get a shock.
Yeah. And you understand what, if you've ever been shocked, you understand why they call it a shock.
Yeah,
because you best believe that after you've had a shock,
will remember it.
You feel bloody shocked.
You won't forget it.
You feel shocked, mate, don't you?
Yeah.
You feel shocked. I tell you, I felt shocked.
Yeah, same here.
Same here. I can tell you that.
My hair went up like this. Like spikes.
Yeah, same. I couldn't believe it. I was trying to figure out what happened for a second.
It's one of those things. Once you experience one, you really don't want one.
Again.
Get one again.
No, you realise that
you learn that you nearly lost your life then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've had a really bad one once, you know, and I know that took my life nearly. You know, if it would have been more powerful than it was, it would have taken my life.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's why they only make it 240 volts.
Yeah.
If it's any more than that, it'll kill you.
It'll probably kill you. Yeah.
So that's why they keep it as a voltage.
Safety thing.
Well, in other countries it's different. You know, the voltage difference. You know, I think in Germany it's different. You know, it's less than that or something.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, you know, that's about a different subject. You know.
Yeah.
But electricity, you know, without electricity, nothing would work.
No.
Nothing. You know, no machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would all kind of like come to a standstill, I think.
Everything. You couldn't charge your phone, you couldn't charge anything, you couldn't use your computer.
No, you know.
Couldn't use your lights, your heating, your hot water, your cooking, everything. You'd literally, it'd be like living in, like, you know, stone man days, you know, caveman days kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, where you're hunter-gatherer, you know, in order to survive.
That's right, yeah.
Because if you can't cook and shit, what do? You got to go out. You got to try and make a fire and all these kind of things. That, you know.
Yeah.
Fine. You know, unless you got like one of these, you know, 10-year supplies worth of pot noodles. You know, you can boil a little bit of water. Find a way to boil a little bit of water and pour into your pot noodle and bloody stir it up and eat. You know what I mean? Keep you going. You know.
I mean that's it really. Like. In the 18th century, say, or even early 19th, it used to be difficult times. You know, you couldn't heat up you didn't have double glazing.
Well, they had to cook over fire. That's just how it was. People cooked on
I
fire.
remember my nan. You know, I used to live with my nan a lot, and she used to cook toast on the fire.
Oh wow!
Yeah, on a fork.
Wow.
You know, and you know,
I've never seen that.
Well, you know, electric today is really sort of gone everywhere, isn't it? You know, and they've worked on it, you know, and discovered. I mean, even with lights, they can change colours today and all kinds of things, you know. remote control as well and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And we just get fans every year or every decade that goes by. Man gets more, they come up with more ideas, or they work on the ideas they've already got.
Yeah.
And it just gets more incredible. But like going back in time, I wouldn't want to I can remember actually when I was about 8, 9 years of age. Do you know what I mean? It was cool. Then I had to sort of run out to the garden and go to the toilet.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go wee or anything,
Yeah.
And it was just different, but it's nicer in a kind of way. You had the family, and it was nice, and we were together in a kind of way in the same house. And we used to play cards more together and things like that. And life's just changed, and you think like electric is really, how many inventions have come out of electric? Like for instance, the toaster, or the sandwich making machine, or the whisker, or the microwave, or the Hoover. These are all new.
Yeah.
In a kind of way.
Yeah.
They've not always been around, but like when children are born today, they don't really think much. They think these things have been around forever.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like 1,000 years or something, but they're not. They're new. This is a new world.
Yeah.
And it gets newer at every generation. But I don't think we can stop it.
You know what I think would be really interesting? If you were to create a show today, right, mate? Where like people who are like let's say about 18, all of them about 18, and you give them, like a little series where they have to like use like old school technology, if you see what I mean, like record players and cassette players and all that kind of stuff, if you see what I mean, where you had your your tapes, your Walkmans and your Discmans. When your Discmans first came out, you could put a little disc inside of it and close it and plug your headphones into it and put it into your backpack and walk along, playing your CDs, all these different things, if you see what I mean, that a lot of the younger generation never experienced. We got to experience, people like, especially me, even though I'm relatively still quite young, I was of that I think I was kind of that last generation that experienced the evolution of the technology from the beginning to what it is today, if that makes sense. The same as you, because you were already alive. Obviously you're older than me, you were already alive. But for me, I was able to literally watch it, because obviously being young, back I was born in the 90s, early 90s, 92. So I remember, from a young man seeing, when I got to like 10 years old, seeing the, technology evolving, getting, my mum getting the first computer, and, getting a Game Boy, and, all these things, like the Nintendo 64 and the Sega Genesis. I remember the first one was Sega Genesis. That was the first ever console we had, and I remember being like 5 years old, playing on that with my sister, if you see what I mean. Like, graphics were terrible, awful, you know what I mean? But all these things, and then you got to watch, like we said, all the evolution, and from what it was then, the graphics and the technology, and what it is today, like the complete opposite, in the span of 15, 20 years. It's so different, amazing. Like, if you play a game today, like especially like on the new console, like PlayStation 5, or one of these new Xboxes, or whatever it is, whatever the new thing is today, the graphics are almost real. It's hard to almost tell the difference to a degree. Obviously, it's fake, but it's just so incredible. If you see what I mean,
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's amazing. Yeah.
You think what they've got today, what are they gonna, make in the future?
Yeah.
Like, like the game, whatever the graphics are today, how far they've got with it today.
Yeah.
Another 100 years.
Yeah.
Today,
Yeah.
What are they going to come out with?
Yeah.
Because I think they, like mankind, they do wake up every day and they work on things every day.
Yes. In
one way or another. Some people working on computers. Some people interested in building cars, maybe, whatever. We've all got different talents, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But like technology isn't a bad thing. Sometimes people like to demonize things completely, and you can never you can't demonize things completely. You have to always remember, like we said earlier, everything has pros and cons. You know, that's just a reality. It's just ensuring, as I think that the main thing is a society with when it comes to artificial intelligence, it's just ensuring that this is a safe thing. You know, we somehow, you know, we've got to get to a point where it is safe before it's introduced into society. You know, you can't have people, you know, some people, let's say they introduce robots that people can buy, that they can have help around the house to do their daily chores and stuff
I think
like
they
this.
can really, in a kind of way, you know, they could do Ubers and all kinds of things, but yeah.
But do you get what I mean? One of these robots that literally it's programmed like to help. It's like an assistant essentially. You can buy it from one of these companies, and it's programmed. It's like almost like a human, but it's a robot. And you can program it, say, oh, you know, I need you to hoover the house while I'm at work today, and I need you to do this, and you know, and it's programmed to do these tasks. But what happens? You know, let's say you got a wife and kids, and all of a sudden the robot attack. You know, all of a sudden the robot goes rogue and picks up a knife, and starts going ballistic with this bloody knife all of a sudden because something's gone haywire in the robot. One of the wires has come loose. One of the electrical.
The thing is, I don't think a robot can ever get a mind for itself. You know what I mean? I don't think it can turn crazy.
You don't think it could ever become self-aware I don't
think it can start attacking someone. You know.
But the thing is, what's scary though, mate, even with these applications, like I was saying with ChatGPT and these different things, if these things are used and programmed into these robots, right? I think they can think for themselves because the way that they've designed these things, like you can literally ask these programs to do anything, almost essentially, and it will give you information about it. It will give you a plan. It will come up with a script. If you want to, let's say right now we've got an idea for a film, a name of it, and the very basic idea for it. We download ChatGPT and type it into that. It will literally give you a script. Produce a script, everything else for you. Everything that is required, etc. in order to create that. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
It's literally, and so you can imagine a machine that's created like that, if you see what I mean, where everything that it encounters is able to find something within the database about what it's encountering in order to deal with it, if you get what I'm trying to say.
I mean, man invented machine, and now maybe machine's going to kill man.
Maybe.
You know, I mean, machines are not necessarily, you know, they're weapons too sometimes, if you see what I mean. And man really they create the most. I mean, I suspect that's becoming artificial intelligence as well, all that kind of stuff. You know, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't really like thinking about it really. All these weapons that they work on.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Deadly weapons.
Because you've got exactly. You've got artificial, like you said, artificial intelligence, which is deadly, which is nanoparticles and stuff like this, like you were talking about earlier, where they can use certain technology to kill people and shit.
Well,
you know,
they even understand chemicals in a kind of way, don't they? They know how to put a whole city to sleep and things, you know. It's scary.
But you not often hear, but occasionally you would literally hear of someone being touched in the street and just dropping down dead. And usually it's one of these, you know, it'll be usually associated. Usually the story would be someone that's associated with some intelligence agency of some description. And that happens every now and again, where you're literally one of these agents, be wearing gloves or something else. This person